Hello friends, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Ajay Solkhe, presently working as Assistant Professor, University School of Management, Kurukshetra University, Kurukshetra, Haryana. Upon completion of the module, the student should be able to understand the meaning of grievance, causes of grievance, ideal procedure for settling grievance in organizations, features of model grievance, settlement procedure, challenges involved with the settlement process, and all the issues relating to the grievance management. The very first of all, we need to be clear with what exactly grievance is. An aggrieved employee is a potent source of indiscipline and bad working. According to Julius, a grievance is any discontent or dissatisfaction, whether expressed or not, whether valid or not, arising out of anything connected with the company which an employee thinks, believes, or even feels to be unfair, unjust, or inequitable. Individual or collective grievances. The International Labour Organization defines a grievance as a complaint of one or more workers with respect to wages and allowances, conditions of work, and interpretation of service conditions, covering such areas as overtime, leave, transfer, promotion, seniority, job assignment, and termination of service. The National Commission on Labour observed that complaints affecting one or more individual workers in respect of their wage payments, overtime, leave transfer, promotion, seniority, work assignment, and discharges would constitute grievances. Dissatisfaction, complaint, and grievance. According to Pigors and Myers, three terms dissatisfaction, complaint, and grievance indicate the various forms and stages of employee dissatisfaction. Dissatisfaction is anything that disturbs an employee whether or not he expresses his unrest in words. A complaint is a spoken or written dissatisfaction brought to the attention of the supervisor and the shop steward. Grievance is simply a complaint that has been ignored, overridden, or dismissed without due consideration. Features of a grievance. If we analyze the definition, some noticeable features emerge clearly. A grievance refers to any form of discontent or dissatisfaction with any aspect of the organization. The dissatisfaction must arise out of employment and not due to personal or family problems. The discontent can arise out of real or imaginary reasons. When the employees feel that injustice has been done to him, he has a grievance. The reasons for such a feeling may be valid or invalid, legitimate or irrational, justifiable or ridiculous. The discontent may be voiced or unvoiced, but it must find expression in some form. However, discontent per se is not a grievance. Initially, the employee may complain orally or in writing. If this is not looked into promptly, the employee feels a sense of injustice. Now, the discontent grows and takes the shape of a grievance. Broadly speaking, thus a grievance is traceable to perceived non-fulfillment of one's expectations from the organization. Nature and causes of grievances. Although the precise nature of grievance will differ from one organization to another, in general they tend to fall under some of the categories in most Indian organizations. The very first category is promotions, which includes supersession, acting promotion, seniority, pay fixation. Now, this could be the prominent reason why a grievance or a disagreement arise. In the head of compensation, problems related to increments, payments, recovery of dues, problems relating to amenities, inequitable distribution, anti-dement, medical benefits, matters of the service like transfers, continuity of service, superannuation. With respect to disciplinary action, punishments, fines, victimizations. With respect to the nature of the job, job allocation, conditions of the work, safety, hazards, and some of the leave matters also sometimes create discontentment or disagreement, which leads to some kind of grievance. S. Chandra's study on grievance procedure and practices revealed following as some of the main causes of employee grievance: the victimization, amenities, compensation, conditions of work, continuity of service, disciplinary action, fines, leave, medical benefits, nature of job, promotions, payments, safety environment, superannuation, transfers, supersession, and all those factors are the prominent reasons for the grievance. The various forms of grievance. A grievance may take any of the following forms. It can be a factual one, it can be imaginary, or it can be disguised. A factual grievance arises when legitimate needs of the employees remain unfulfilled. For example, wage hike has been agreed but not implemented, citing various reasons. Imaginary, when an employee's dissatisfaction is not because of any valid reason but because of a wrong perception, wrong attitude, or wrong information he has gathered. Such a situation may create an imaginary grievance. Though management is not at fault in such instances, still it has to clear the fog immediately. Disguised, an employee may have dissatisfaction for reasons that are unknown to himself. If he or she is under pressure from family, friends, relatives, neighbors, she may reach the work spot with heavy hurt. If a new recruit gets a new table and almirah, this may become an eyesore to other employees who have not been treated likewise previously. What are the effects of grievances? Grievances can have several effects which are essentially adverse and counterproductive to organizational purpose. The adverse effects include that is loss of interest in work and consequently lack of morale and commitment, poor quality of production, low productivity, increase in wastage and costs, increase in employee turnover, increase in absenteeism, increase in the incident of accidents, indiscipline, unrest. Grievances, if they are not identified and redressed, may affect adversely the workers, managers, and the entire organization. The effects are broadly classified into three categories: effects on production, effects on employees, and effects on managers. With respect to effects on production, low quality of production is a major effect. Then is low quality of production and productivity, increase in the wastage of material, spoilage, leakage of machinery, increase in the cost of production per unit. With respect to effect on employees, increases the rate of absenteeism and turnover, reduction in the level of commitment, sincerity, and punctuality, increase in the incidence of accidents, reduction in the level of employee morale. That could be the potential effects on the employees. Effects on managers. It strains the superior subordinate relations. It increases the degree of supervision, control, and follow up. Increase in the disciplinary action cases. Increase in unrest and thereby machinery to maintain industrial peace. Why there should be a formal procedure to handle grievances? Beach has given several reasons as to why there should be a formal procedure to handle grievances. All employee complaints and grievances are in actual practice not settled satisfactorily by the first level supervisor due to lack of necessary human relation skills or authority to act. It serves as a medium of upward communication whereby the management becomes aware of employees' frustrations, problems, and expectations. It operates like a pressure release valve on a steam boiler, providing the employees with an outlet to vent their frustration, discontents, and gripes. It also reduces the likelihood of arbitrary action by supervision, since the supervisors know that the employees are able to protest such behavior and make their protests heard by higher manager. The very fact that employees have a right to be heard and actually are heard helps to keep the morale high. The benefits of a grievance handling procedure. According to Jackson, further benefits that will accrue to both the employer and employees are: it encourages employees to raise concerns without fear of a reprisal. It provides a fair and speedy means of dealing with complaints. It prevents minor disagreements developing into more serious disputes. It saves managers time and money as solutions are found for workplace problems. It helps to build an organization climate based on openness and trust. The objectives of a grievance handling procedure. Jackson further stated that the objectives of a grievance handling procedure could be to enable the employee to air his or her grievance, to clarify the nature of the grievance, to investigate the reasons for dissatisfaction, to obtain, where possible, a speedy resolution to the problem, to take appropriate actions and ensure that promises are kept, to inform the employee of his or her right to take the grievances to the next stage of the procedure in the event of an unsuccessful resolution. The grievance procedure. Most of the large organizations in India have a formal grievance procedure which enables an organization to redress those grievances that come under its purview. The advantage of having a formal procedure are it provides established and known methods of processing grievances and keep this channel of communication always open. The redressal of grievance is attempted by establishing the facts pertaining to the grievance, collecting the facts and evidence, asking probing questions relating to the grievance, analyzing facts and data generated, and taking decisions on an impartial basis. The role of emotion which may have caused the grievance in the first place can be minimized by following the process of objective analysis. The process covers several levels in the organization, including reference to outside institutions or individuals, if so desired or provided in the contract. Its existence provides confidence among employees that they can be heard and that the grievances can be impartially redressed. The mere existence of this procedure, therefore, is satisfying even though an employee may never have an occasion to use it. Even if a grievance is not settled in an employee's favor, still the employee may feel satisfied because he had the opportunity to communicate and to be heard by the management. Involving various hierarchical levels like middle and senior management in the grievance redressal process provides a safeguard against the possible arbitrary or biased decision of the immediate supervisor. Various levels in the organization get to know of the kinds of issues that concern workers and managers. What are the essential prerequisites of a grievance procedure? There should be a conformity with the statutory provisions, there should be unambiguity, it should be a simplicity, promptness, training, and lastly, follow-up should always be done. The grievance procedure to be sound and effective should possess certain prerequisites. The very first is conformity with the statutory provisions. Due consideration must be given to the prevailing legislation while designing the grievance handling procedure. Unambiguity. Every aspect of the grievance handling procedure should be clear and unambiguous. All employees should know whom to approach first, then they have a grievance, whether the complaint should be written or oral. The maximum time in which the redressal is assured, the redressing official should also know the limits within which he can take the required action. Simplicity. The grievance handling procedure should be simple and short. If the procedure is complicated, it may discourage employees and they may fail to make use of it in a proper manner. Promptness. The grievance of the employee should be promptly handled and necessary action must be taken immediately. This is good for both the employee and the management, because if the wrongdoer is punished late, it may affect the morale of other employees as well. Training. The supervisors and the union representatives should be properly trained in all aspects of grievance handling beforehand, or else it will complicate the problem. Follow-up. The personnel department should keep track of the effectiveness and functioning of the grievance handling procedure and make necessary changes to improve it from time to time. Recommendations of the National Commission on Labour. The National Commission on Labour has given a statutory backing for the formulation of an effective grievance procedure. It should be time bound and have a limited number of steps, say approach to the supervisor, then to the departmental head and thereafter representatives. It should be made applicable only to those units which employ more than 100 workers. The Industrial Disputes Amendment Act 1982 has provided for a reference of certain individual disputes to grievance settlement authorities. Section 9C of the Act stipulates that in every establishment which is 100 or more workmen employed or have been employed on any day in the preceding 12 months, the employer shall set up a time-bound grievance redressal procedure. Grievance machinery. With respect to grievance machinery, National Commission on Labour has recommended that it should be set up in each undertaking to administer the grievance procedure. The minimum requirements of such machinery would be as follows, except where an established procedure is already working to the mutual satisfaction of either party. Even in the latter case, every effort shall be made to bring the procedure in conformity with the guiding principles. For the purpose of constituting a fresh grievance machinery, workers in each department and in each shift shall elect from amongst themselves or for a period of not less than 1 year at a time departmental representatives and forward the list of persons to be elected to the management. Where the union in the undertaking is in a position to submit an agreed list of names, recourse to election may not be necessary. Similar is the case where works committee are functioning satisfactorily, since the works committee members of a particular constituency shall act as the departmental representatives. Correspondingly, the management shall designate the persons for each department who shall be approached at the first stage and the departmental heads for handling grievances at the second stage. 2 or 3 of the departmental representatives of workers and 2 or 3 departmental heads nominated by the management shall constitute a grievance committee, the composition of which is indicated in the appendix. In the case of appeals against discharges or dismissals, the management shall designate the authority to whom appeals can be made. Model grievance procedure. While adaptations have to be made to meet special circumstances such as those in the defense undertakings, railways, plantations, and also small undertakings employing few workers, the procedure normally envisaged in the handling of grievances should be as follows. The aggrieved part employee shall first present the grievance verbally in person to the officer designated by management for this purpose. An answer shall be given within 48 hours of the presentation of the complaint. If the worker is not satisfied with the decision of this officer or fails to receive an answer within the stipulated period, she shall or he shall, either in person or accompanied by his or her departmental representative, present his or her grievances to the head of the department designated by the management for the purpose of handling grievances. For this purpose, a fixed time shall be specified during which, on any working day, an aggrieved worker can meet the departmental head for presentation of the grievances. The departmental head shall have his or her answer within 3 days of the presentation of the grievance. If action cannot be taken within that period, the reason for delay should be recorded. If the decision of the department head is unsatisfactory, the aggrieved worker may request the forwarding of his or her grievance to the grievance committee, which shall make its recommendation to the manager within 7 days of the worker's request. If the recommendations cannot be made within this time limit, the reason for the delay should be recorded. The management shall implement unanimous recommendations of the grievance committee. In the event of difference of opinion among the members of the grievance committee, the views of the members along with the relevant papers shall be placed before the manager of the final decision. In either case, the final decision of the management shall be communicated to the worker concerned by the personnel officer within 3 days from the receipt of the grievance committee's recommendation. Should the decision from the management not be forthcoming within the stipulated period, or should it be unsatisfactory, the worker shall have the right to appeal to management for a revision. In making this appeal, the worker, if she so desires, shall have the right to take a union official along with his or him to facilitate discussions with the management. Management shall communicate the decision within a week of the worker's revision petition. If no agreement is still possible, the union and the management, where a worker has taken up a grievance for redressal under this procedure, the formal conciliation machinery shall not intervene till all steps in the procedure are exhausted. A grievance shall be presumed to assume the form of a dispute only when the final decision of the top management in respect of the grievance is not acceptable to the worker. If a grievance arises out of an order given by the management, the said order shall be complied with before the worker concerned invokes the procedure laid down for redressal of grievance. If, however, there is a time lag between the issue of order and its compliance, the grievance procedure may immediately be invoked, but the order nevertheless must be complied with the due date. Even if all the steps in the grievance procedure have not been exhausted, It may, however, be advisable for the management to await the findings of grievance procedure machinery. Workers' representative on the grievance committees shall have the right of access to any document connected with the inquiry maintained in the department and which may be necessary to understand the merit or otherwise of the worker's grievance. The management's representative shall have the right, however, to refuse to show any document or give any information which they consider to be of a confidential nature. Such confidential documents shall not be used against the workers in the course of the grievance proceedings. There shall be a time limit within which an appeal shall be taken from one step to another. For this purpose, the aggrieved worker shall within 72 hours of the receipt of the decision at one stage file his or her appeal with the authority at the next higher stage, should also feel inclined to appeal. In calculating the various time intervals under the above clauses, holidays shall not be reckoned. Management shall provide the necessary clerical and other assistance for the smooth functioning of the grievance machinery. If it is necessary for any worker to leave the department during working hours on call from the labor personnel officer or any other officer of the established grievance machinery, previous permission of his or her supervisor shall necessarily be obtained. Subject to his or her condition, the worker shall not suffer any loss in wages for the work time lost in this manner. If, however, there is any complaint against any individual members of the staff who is nominated by the management to handle grievances at the lowest level, the worker may take up his or her grievance at the next highest stage, that is, at the level of the departmental head. In the case of any grievance arising out of a discharge or dismissal of a worker, the above mentioned procedures shall not apply. Instead, a discharged or dismissed worker shall have the right to appeal either to the dismissing authority or to a senior authority, who shall be specified by the management within a week from the date of dismissal or discharge. At the same time the appeal is heard, the worker may, if he or she so desires, be accompanied by either an official of the recognized union or a fellow worker, as the case may be. Friends, I hope you have understood the contents well. You can also refer to other quadrants of this module for testing your knowledge and having some more input on theme of the module. Happy learning.